Hi, in the last video, I talked about some splitting text functions that can be really helpful, and I introduced left, right, and mid function. So, but the example that I used to introduce those functions was fairly basic example. And in this video, I'm using the same functions for a fairly more complicated problem. I use other functions like IFERROR, len, and find, which are really useful functions in Excel to know to kind of solve this problem. In this video, again, I used the same spreadsheet. I found this spreadsheet on Kaggle website, and I use it for the sake of practice. So the problem that I'm gonna introduce is that it's not a problem. It's just like something that I need, the task that I'm gonna do. I have a column here which contains customer name, customer first name, and customer's last name together. And there is a space between first name and last name. So I don't want to see the customer name in this format. I want to have the first name and the last name of the customers in separate cells. So I just generate two columns. I just use first name for the header of this column and last name for the header of the second column. So what is the potential solution? Like when we have left, right function in our mind, potentially we think like for the first name, I should use left function and extract the first name from the left side of the text. But the problem is that in the last video, I had an easy job. I exactly knew how many characters I wanna pick from the left side of the text. But in this problem, in this example, the customer name is different. So when they have different first name, the number of characters in the first name is different. And how many characters should I pick from the left side of the customer name? How many characters using the left function? How many characters do I need to pick from the left side that shows me the first name of the customer, right? So, for example, this customer, her name is Claire. Her first name like has 6 characters, but this customer, his name is Sean, and the first name has 4 characters. So if I use the left function, I don't know as a second input what could be the number that goes into as a second input. This is a huge Excel file, and it's impossible for me to write up the function in each cell separately, and I should come up with a formula that help me to extract the first name of the customer and to just like double click on the fill handle and fill the whole column and straight up have the first name of the customers in this column K. So the problem is clear up to now. How can I find the number of characters in the first name of the customer? I just create an auxiliary column here to use it and find out how many characters are in the first name. So a potential solution would be to locate the position of a space within this text. Since there is a space between first name and last name, if I find out the position of a space within this text, it helps me to find the number of characters in the first name of the customer. For example, if I find out the location of a space in this customer name, it shows me 7. And if I I use it and minus and like deduct one from it. Like for example, 7 minus 1 is 6. It shows me the number of characters in the first name. So the function that helps me to locate the position of a space in this text would be find. And if I locate the position of a space, -1 shows me the number of characters in the first name. So let's write it up together. I just type equal and I use fi and it shows me the function as a first suggestion. I push tab button and I have the function. The first input in the find asks me what kind of text are you looking for? Like you want to look for. I want to look for a space within a text. So I just open a double quote and put a space between. That's what I'm looking. I'm looking for the space within the text. So I open a double quote and put a space in between. The second input for the find function is asking me what is the whole text you are looking for this character, for the space within what. So I'm looking for the space within customer name and I pick J2 here. So I'm done with the find function and I just put -1 here and I press enter. So I have 6. It shows me the number of characters in the first name of the customer. So I want to check it out if it works for all of the customers. I double click on the field handle and randomly check for another customer. This customer, his name is Tracy. It has 5 characters within the first name, and I have 5 here. So I generated an auxiliary column that shows the number of characters in the first name of the customer. Now I'm done. If I use the left function, and I know if I want to use the left function, I know how many characters I need to pick from the left side. So let's write it up together. I just put an equal here and I type LE and the first suggestion is left and I press tab button. The first input for the left function would be the text. I pick the text and number of characters are here in L2. And then close the bracket and press enter and I have the first name. It's good up to now. I have the first name and I can double click on the fill handle and I have the whole column which contains the first name. So it's good. But I have an auxiliary column here which has the data inside it. It shows me the number of characters in the first name and I'm not happy to keep it in my Excel file. So I want to delete this column, but what will happen if I delete it? I will face a reference error because this column contains some data that I used it in the function in the column K, right? So let me delete it and show you that how I face the reference error. I'm gonna delete this thing and all this column is like reference error. So I need that column right now. I just push the Control-Z and the column is there and the formula in column K works fine. But I wanna somehow get rid of this column. The potential solution for that is that like I just copy this formula here, and instead of L2 in the left function here, I just paste the formula and press enter. I still have the first name. I double click on the field handle, so I have all the first name. But right now, the formula within the column K is completely completely independent of column L, right? So I can go ahead and delete column L, and I do not face reference error anymore. So all good up to now. I have all the first name for the customers in the column L. Now I want to generate the last name of I have all the first name of customers in column K, and now I want to generate the last name of customers in column L. So again, I just generate an auxiliary column to help me find. Then I want to use the right function to extract the last name of the customers, but it's still the same problem, almost similar problem that I'm facing. Different customers have different last name, and like obviously the number of characters in the last name are different. So if I want to use the right function, how many characters should I pick from the right side of the customer name? So I generate the auxiliary column, which I want to generate the number of characters within the last name. So let's do it together. It's almost similar. But in this case, when I want to count the number of characters in the last name of the customer, I'm gonna locate the position of a space within the text, and it helps me to find out the number of characters in the last name. First, I calculate the number of characters in the whole text and minus the position of a space within the text. It shows me the number of characters in the last name. Let's do it together. I just type equal. And for counting the number of characters within the customer name, I use len function and press tab, and the function is here. What is the text? Is obviously the customer name. I want to see how many characters are there, and minus the position of a space. So I use find function again, find a space within this text, and I'm done. It shows me the number of characters in the last name of the customer. The customer last name in this example is Goethe. It has 4 characters inside, and here I have a 4. I double click on the fill handle, and I have a column right now that shows me the number of characters in the last name of the customer. So here, the last name for this customer, the last name has 6 characters, and I have a 6 here. For this customer, the last name is Black, and it has 5 characters in it, and I have a 5 here. So again, similarly, I use the right function, and I pick this cell as an input, and a cell in auxiliary column, and yes, I have the last name of the customer. I double click on the fill handle, and all the last names are here. So again, if I don't need this column in my spreadsheet, but if I delete it right now, I will face the reference error because I already use it in my formula in column L. So again, I do the same thing. I just copy the formula here, copy, and then use it in the formula. I just use it in the formula here instead of M2. Okay. I just didn't copy the L, and I just put the L here, and yeah, I just use. So the formula in L2 right now is not dependent on column M. So I'm just gonna double click on the fill handle, and I have all the last names here. And the formula in column L is not dependent on column M anymore. So I'm gonna delete this column and I will not face any reference error anymore. It's all good. I have first name and last name. Yes, for this customer, for example, this customer, it has only first name and last name, and I have his first name and last name separately in different columns. But there is another problem. Some customers have middle name, and in front of them, in the first name, I have their first name, and in the last name column, I have middle name and last name, and it's not their last name. So how should I find out their middle name? And not all customers have middle name, obviously. So I just generate two other columns. Since this column is not last name anymore, I just clear the header and the column header, and I just type middle name here and last name here. Just okay. So this customer has a middle name. So I can use similarly the same solution that when I extract the first name and extract the middle name of the customer using the data in column L. Let's do it together. I use the left function. I pick the text and number of characters. I need to spot the location of a space within the text. Similarly, I use the find function, look for a space within this cell, and -1 shows me the number of characters in the middle name that I want to extract from the left side of this text, and close the bracket and press enter, and I have the middle name. But some customers do not have middle name. Does the formula work for them if I use the same formula for the customers who do not have middle name? I'm telling you no, but let's try it together. I just type the same formula for this customer who does not have a middle name, and let's see what happens. I just use the left function again for this text, and the number of characters would be find the space within this text, and -1, and close the bracket, and it does not work for me. It shows the value error. So the problem is that the find function is looking for a space within the text, and there is no space in N2. There is no middle name, and there is only a last name, and in the text here, I don't have a space. So how should I deal with this error? I just use IFERROR function to respond to this problem. I pick IFERROR function. Here, I just need to just kind of add another bracket. So IFERROR function shows me this value. IFERROR function shows me this value if this value, and if there is any error, it's just the formula, this formula works. If there is any error, the result of this formula will show up. If there isn't any error, if there is not any error. If there would be any error with this formula, I want absolutely nothing in this column. So I just open a double quote and close it, and I'm done. In case that there is any error, if the formula works good, I have the middle name of the customer, but in case the customer does not have a middle name and the formula shows an error, if error function shows absolutely nothing in this cell. So I close the bracket and it should work well. I just clear the content of this column, this cell, and just this cell has a formula inside. I just double click on the fill handle and it works really good. If there is a middle name for the customer, it shows up here. And in case the customer does not have a middle name like this example, there is absolutely nothing in the middle name column. So I just like scroll a little bit, like not a lot of customers have like a middle name, but let's check it quickly together. Oh, okay. There are some examples that there is some like a middle name. For example, this customer has a middle name, and the middle name shows up in the L column, and we are fine. This customer does not have a middle name, and there is absolutely nothing in this column. I just go up and I just use the same strategy to extract the last column, and I do it quickly because it's very similar to the other columns, and I just like do it very quickly. Yes. Now I just entered the formula very quickly. It's just like similar to other things that we other tasks that we did in this video, and I just typed it quickly. Now I have the last name in this column, and I'm gonna double click on the fill handle, and I have all the last names here. So I have like I'm done here almost. I'm almost done here. I have a column that contains first name of the customer. I have a column that contains middle name of the customer, and I have another column that contains last name of the customer. But I do have another column here which contains like potentially if the customer has a middle name and last name, it just shows up the middle name and last name of the customer. And if the customer does not have a middle name, it shows the last name of the customer. And I do not need this column anymore. But what happens if I delete this column? What happens if I delete this column? Actually, if I delete this column, I will face a reference error again. So what is the potential solution for this problem? Yes, I show you. If I just like delete this column, I will face reference error in column L and column M. If you don't believe me, let's do it together and I will show you that reference error will show up. I just delete this column and there is all reference error here. Why I don't see, actually I made a mistake. Why I don't see a middle name in the middle name a reference error? Because I use an IFERROR function here. If there is any error, the IFERROR function shows me shows absolutely nothing, and I don't see an error. So let me like push the Control Z, and I have that column. So the potential solution for that would be it. I just insert a column next to this, and I just type middle name here. And I just pick the whole column here and copy it. And paste, I use paste value, the paste value option here, and paste everything here. So I have a column of middle name that has no formula in it. So I go ahead and delete this column that I don't need it anymore. I have a column that has all the middle names in it, and there is no formula in the cell, and it's not dependent in this n column anymore. So I do the same for the last name also. I just insert a column next to empty column next to. I choose the whole column here and copy it and paste value in the column M. Yeah, that's it. Now in the column M, I have all the last names here, but there is no formula inside, right? So I go ahead and I don't need this column anymore. I just delete this column anymore. Now this auxiliary column, I don't need it anymore, since the last name column and middle name column does not have any formula that is dependent on this column. If I delete it, there is no reference error anymore. So the task is done. I have 3 separate columns. One of them shows the first name, the other shows middle name, and the third one shows the last name. So yeah, I can imagine that there might be some fairly more straightforward solutions for this task, but I just wanted to showcase how I use left, right, and len and find function to use to do this task and solve the problem. I can just like if another thing that I wanna just mention in the in the last minutes of the video is that if I don't need the customer name anymore because I have first name, middle name, and last name here. I exactly do the same. I did middle name and last name does not have any formula right now. I exactly use the similar solution. I insert a column next to first name, copy the first name, and paste value in this column. And I have all the first name here without any formula. Now I can go ahead and delete this column. And now all the first name, middle name, and last name does not have any formula in it. And I can go ahead and delete the customer name if I want to. And I will face no reference error anymore. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I just push Control Z because I need the customer name. But if you want to, you can delete it in this way and face no reference error. That's it for this video. I just wanted to showcase how we can use left, right, and like other functions like IFERROR, len, and find. I hope you enjoy watching this video. Thank you for being with me, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.